So this is a combination, the art to Natalia de Ouroboros, regarding the Three of Swords, misunderstood. How the Three of Swords is misunderstood. So it's a combination of how I feel that the Three of Swords is misunderstood, like, at large, and part of my experiential meaning of the tarot cards series that I started, and um, I'm a little behind on continuing. So I was gonna go in the order of, like, I was gonna do majors first and all this stuff, but um, Natalia's video of this past week regarding the Three of Swords really hit home, because I had mentioned in just a previous video not too long ago that I have a very long-standing relationship with the Eight of Swords, which I also feel is a card that is misunderstood, misread, or just not. I agree with Natalia. It's not that it's misunderstood, it's oversimplified. I find that some of these tarot cards, their meanings have become overly simplified. Now, I'm going to open by saying that by far, of the four suits of the tarot, Swords is my favorite. I live in the suit of Swords. The suit of Swords tells a story of my life. It's my day to day. It's my existence. For the longest time, I've had I have difficulty understanding myself, because here I am. I'm someone who lives and breathes a connection to the spirit world. My my spiritual practice is a psychomagic kind of spiritual, magical spiritual practice. I'm of Italian descent. Much of our belief system is based on, we continue our relationships with people in our family who are no longer living, ancestral. Veneration is not the right word. It's more ancestral communication, ancestral engagement. So that's why I shy away from, like, buzzwords of today. Ooh, ancestor veneration. No, it's in my practice, in my culture, in my family of origin. It's not ancestral veneration. It is an ongoing relationship with our ancestors, working shit out. And I plan on doing a video discussing that, how for me, growing up, it was perfectly normal that these relationships continued with our relatives who had passed away, even the ones we never met. We have a relationship with, and a lot of the work we do on a spiritual level is working out the shit. It's not, oh, my ancestors, please, I venerate you. Bullshit, man. Most of the work that I've been doing with my ancestors has been to repair some, like, serious damage, especially, like, ancestors who have passed away, who I knew, like, in my life, I've known in my lifetime. And, to be brutally honest, like, working shit out with my dad after he was dead, because he died young. He died before I could work shit out with him. We could work shit out, and I was very, very angry with him, and he was very angry with me. We just, we had a very, very complex and difficult relationship in life. So a lot of the work that's done in my practice is not veneration. So where was I going with? Oh, the suit of swords. The suit of swords for me is a story of my life. I was talking about how, I live in this, I live a life that's very connected to spirit, but one would think that, oh, so you must be like, the cups must be your, no. For me, if you live a life that's very connected to spirit, then you are You live up here. Everybody maligns everybody. You know what I'm saying, right? The New Age will malign and say, "Oh, you shouldn't listen to your head. You have to listen to your intuition." Well, there's gut feeling, but if you work with spirit, you work up here. If you are someone who practices walking between worlds, you're not physically walking between worlds. You're walking between worlds up here. So, oh my God, I don't know what face that was, but anyway. The Suit of Swords for me, I can always when I pull out tarot cards to read for myself, if there isn't a sword card in my reading, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Which is interesting because I know people that the second they see swords, they go, "Oh my God, it's bad." No. And this is, let's talk about the Three of Swords. It's 6 minutes I'm talking, I still didn't talk about the Three of Swords. This is the Three of Swords, the first one I ever met. I'm not going to count playing cards, Three of Spades, because when I learned how to read playing cards, it was kind of like a Lenormand kind of system where we removed the twos, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6s from the deck and read with the rest. So that's how I was taught playing cards. So, and the Italian playing cards, well, the 2s, the 3s, and all that stuff were in the deck. But that's cartomancy, and it's a completely different thing. When I first saw this tarot card, and my first tarot deck was a Rider-Waite plaid back from the 80s. When I first saw this card, I still remember, I was told heartbreak. It was in a reading that someone had done for me. I'd gone for a reading. She says, "Oh, you're going to have your heart broken." Oh, fuck. I was 16 years old. Of course I was going to have my heart broken. But anyway, I digress. When I see this card, this card, the last 34, 35 years I've been reading, oh my God, 36 years I've been reading tarot. This card has never meant heartbreak. Never. Heartbreak, 5 of Cups. Like really, disappointment, disillusionment. Whenever I've had my heart broken, it was the 5 of Cups. That was the card that came out. This card, this is the card that when I see it, I already know what's coming. This heralds a time of uncertainty. When I see the Three of Swords, my experience has been, it is a time of mental uncertainty. It is a time of, this comes after the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords, and like I plan on doing the whole sword suit one at a time. But for me, the Page of Swords has always meant anxiety. That card comes out, that is always anxiety. This card comes out, and this is where you've gone beyond anxiety. It is a point where I'm having difficulty holding my shit together. It is where, if those of you who suffer from depression, anxiety, see, I'm undiagnosed, but both my parents, my mother was diagnosed and on medication. My father should have been diagnosed, and medication probably would have helped him a lot too, because, anyway, I digress. I'm undiagnosed, but I'm self-aware that I do suffer from depression and anxiety. And when I see this card, I know that what's coming, and it's a warning. This has never come up as after the fact. And this goes back to my whole I'm a fortune teller. Cards are predictive. I don't get this card when I'm in the throes of this state of mind. I get this card before it happens. And it heralds a time of feeling mentally ungrounded. Like, I don't even understand why there's a heart here. It should be a brain. Honestly, because this is, it should be a brain, and like, even the imagery with the heart, the sword stabbing the heart, no, it feels like you can't hang on. Mentally, it feels like I cannot hang on. Oh my God, sorry people, English. I can't hang on to my swords. It feels like they're slipping away. It's a place of despair, but it's not the Nine of Swords despair. This is a place of emptiness. This is a place where your brain is empty, but there's all these fragments floating around, and the card, and this is why I don't have time. I've been meaning to study this deck, and I don't have time to study it. But this is why I was able to just open up this deck and start reading with straight off without reading any books, is because this right here. This is the Three of Swords in the Thoth deck. This is what the Three of Swords feels like to me. There's all these fragments flying around, and there's a fog, and there's clouds. See, the clouds are correct here. Like, the clouds are correct. But this is really, when I close my eyes and I'm in the state of the Three of Swords, this is what it looks like in my mind. It's feeling groundless. It's feeling like you're grasping. You're feeling like you don't know what's going to happen next, and you're filled with fear and anxiety. For me, it's that kind of place. And so distilling it down, like, simplifying it to heartbreak is fucking ridiculous to me, because this has never ever been heartbreak for me. This has always been mental anguish, being out of control. It's that place where things are going on around you and you feel out of control. You are just spinning, and you're just trying to hold your shit together, and you got to get through this, but most of your pain is internal. Most of your pain is in your mind. This card. The worst thing I have seen about the second edition, okay, I don't like the second edition of this deck, because cards were replaced with Rider-Waite-Smith imagery when they didn't have to be. This is the Marielle first edition, and this is the Three of Swords. This bird is in flight, trying to hold his shit together. This is what the Three of Swords feels like up here. The Four of Swords is that moment where all that dust settles, the wind dies down, the moment has passed, and you can rest. The Four of Swords also leads you to that place where you're so fucking exhausted, hanging on to your shit, hanging on not to fall apart, that you just collapse from exhaustion. That too is the Four of Swords. All right, people, that was me and my relationship, or why I feel the Three of Swords is misunderstood, but more importantly, I feel that it's oversimplified. And yes, when even when doing, because I do predictive readings, you know, like I don't even like that term, predictive readings. What the fuck does that even mean, predictive readings? If you're reading cards, you're foretelling the future, or you're looking into beyond what is visible, right? But when I do a reading, this card has never heralded a heartbreak. Never, never. This card is a warning that you're gonna be going through a period where you're gonna have difficulty holding your shit together, whether it is anxiety symptoms, symptoms of clinical depression, life circumstances out of your control that fill you with dread, fear, and of the unknown. You know, not being able to find peace of mind. That's what the Three of Swords means, and this, to me, is an excellent representation of it. And again, I'm very disappointed that I feel like the artist was pressured by what people were saying to change cards in the second edition. And Marie White, not that I expect you to watch my videos, but if you do, reissue your first edition. You are a brilliant artist. Those cards you changed, you don't have to, don't dumb it down. Don't dumb it down. You're brilliant. All right, people, that's it for me, and I wish you all a beautiful day.